Hello, hello, listeners. It is I, and it has been freaking 3 weeks since episode 4. I apologize for this long break. I know a lot of y'all are enjoying this season so far, and I honestly just could not find anybody to do for the last 3 weeks, but I found somebody for today, and his name is Christian Blandford. He is the guy behind the Overnight games, those FNAF free-roam games, and the most recent game that I played called The Designer's Curse. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem, dude. So yeah, like I said, he's behind those games. A lot of people have played the Overnight games. I think some people have played Designer's Curse so far, but like including me. But a lot of big guys have played the Overnight games, like Markiplier, Omar Sabali. I have actually played Overnight 2 myself, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, so we've got some questions for Christian over here on my community tab post and my Twitter tweet thing. I don't even know what I was trying to go for there, but that's basically how I set up. If anybody is interested in being a guest in the future, that's basically how I do it. Like a few days before we do an interview, I'll post a post on community tab and Twitter just to let some questions build up. And I already know who my guest is going to be next week. I'm going to be interviewing the Game Salmon, so keep an eye out for that for next week.
Really?
Anyways, I
love
am
that guy.
Yeah,
I
so
love him.
yeah, so he will be for episode 6. But let's focus on episode 5. Now, we're going to start with, I think we have more questions on the community tab, so we're going to start with the Twitter ones first. And so yeah, are you ready to proceed?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Okay, so our first question is from the Kirby Genius. He says, out of all the games you have made so far, which ones do you consider to be the best?
That is a great question. There's actually not too many that I'm confident with. I'd say there was a game called Overnight Revived, which not actually many people played, but it was sort of like a remastered version of the first game, right? And it was cool. It was really badly optimized, but it had the best AI in my opinion, and just the gameplay was smooth if you had a good computer. So that was pretty cool in terms of Five Nights at Freddy's games. That was probably one of the best things I did. Wasn't a big fan of Overnight 2 Reboot. I look back on it and not really a big fan of it, but lots of people played it, which is great. It gave me loads of publicity. So the answer to your question, the best game I've ever made is The Designer's Curse. It's a game that I released recently, which is on
Steam?
That's my
Yeah,
favorite one.
I agree. I really like Designer's Curse. Mostly because it was, I just love Amnesia, and the fact that it's Amnesia inspired and has pretty much the exact same controls as Amnesia.
Yeah.
Like, that's what immersed me originally, was like the fact that you could like pull open the doors and, you know, throw stuff with right mouse after clicking it up. It's just, it immediately, I need to go back to Amnesia. I need to play that game again. But it,
Yeah, that's great that you say that, because I actually spent about a solid 3 months getting all the physics working, and I think it sort of pulled off. There's a few, it's a little bit annoying in some places, but I think it really helps immersing the player, being able to pick up things and throw things, put things in the toilet, open the toilet. Lots of people like to do that. I'm not sure if there's a single YouTuber who hasn't tried to put the books in, and I've loved every minute of seeing that.
yeah, I didn't do that, but I did mess around with the toilet seat, because, you know, there's a running joke on my channel where, like, it's basically, there was a YouTuber that I used to watch called Nintendo Capri Sun, and he had a catchphrase where whenever he would make a bathroom reference, he would go, "in the bathroom," and I kind of just adopted that. Like, I don't say it constantly, because I would just be, you know, plagiarizing him, but every now and then I'll make the reference. And
Toilet humor is amazing. Yeah,
yes,
toilet
it
humor
is.
is number one.
No matter how old you get, it always stays fresh. And but yeah, I did interact with the toilet seat quite a bit. I remember my friend Dreaming, who suggested that I play the game. He was, I remember in my Discord server, he was like, "Bud interacts with toilet seat," and I was like, "Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I did. That's the highlight of the video right there." But
100%.
But yeah, and something that I've noticed is that, like, a lot of people are impressed by your game-making skills considering your age. And I agree with them. It's very impressive that you've made games like this considering, you know, your age, because you've made games that, you know, rival games that adults have made. And I think it shows that, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, you know, you can if you put your mind to it, you can make anything you want.
Yeah, see, that puts a smile on my face. Could you see? I think I started when I was about 9. That's when I first sort of started getting on the whole programming and Unity thing. And I think it was we were having this IT lesson in school, and we were basically making these little game things in Microsoft PowerPoint. So not Scratch, Microsoft PowerPoint. So this is like really basic stuff. I can't even remember how that was even possible. But anyway, so I said, "Oh, I really want to try this. This is really fun." And I'd seen, PewDiePie play, Amnesia on YouTube. I'd seen a bunch of things. I was watching Markiplier. I was really into that sort of stuff. And someone said to me, "Oh, you have to like be really smart to know how to code." And it's like, I don't think you'll be able to do it. And I was like, "Oh my!" I was like, "Okay." So I took that as like an inspiration, and I sort of went from there. And I made a few little parkour games. Like there was like a Slender game that I made ages ago. If you look at my Game Jolt page, you can see all my very first stuff, and it's awful, but it's in a good way. Like, and I just love going back to those games and seeing how much it's sort of developed from there, which is really nice. But age, yeah, some people think it isn't a factor, but I think it sort of is, because when you're older doing this sort of thing, you have more, you've done exams, you have more experience in terms of algorithmic thinking, maybe, if you've done maths, whereas I wasn't really. What year is that? That's like year 5 or year 4, which is 3rd or 4th grade, I think. But I think it was a great place to start, and I'm really happy about how it's developed since then.
Yeah, it sounds like you've gone really far, and considering going from that all the way to Designer's Curse, you've made a lot of progress, and I'm really excited for Chapter 2 of that, because I don't remember when you said that Chapter 2 would be finished, but I think you said that on the Steam page. When did you say that Chapter 2 is going to be done?
Well, you see, I'm working on it now. I'm in my summer holidays right now, so I'm in the UK. So we start the summer earlier. Later on than people do in the US. So I've got about 3 weeks, and I'm just starting off with level design and developing story and things like that. Because believe it or not, the thing that spent most time in the first chapter was the things like the physics and the inventory and all that sort of stuff. So now I've sort of got that. I can just develop the game from there. I think it might possibly January or December I might have the playable version, but it's going to be a lot longer. I'm hoping for it to be about 2 hours long, and I'm going to sell it for about $1.99. It's going to be my first paid game, because everything I've done so far is free, and I'd love to sell something for a reasonable price, 99p or like 1.99. I'm really not sure. It depends how good quality it is and if it's enjoyable, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's a reasonable price considering that it's going to be that long. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for that, because like I said, I cannot express how much I enjoyed Chapter 1. It was
really,
yeah, I had a lot of. I think I had way more fun with that than I thought I was going to. Not that I thought it was going to be bad. I just thought, oh, okay,
yeah,
so, it's going to be another first-person horror game, inspired off of Amnesia. I might like this, but I really, really enjoyed it. So
yeah, it's I don't know if you knew, but it's actually the same composer from Amnesia.
Yeah, because I was wondering if if you found the Amnesia music, you got the guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would be legal, bro. I'm not sure, but I found his Twitter. I think the first thing I did, I watched a film called It Follows, and that was an amazing film. And I love the soundtrack.
That, yeah. I've seen
so
that.
I found the guy's email who did the music for that, and I said, "Hey, are you interested in doing anything the horror game?" Like, "Oh, I'm busy and I'm not really in the mood for doing anything horror." And I was like, "Oh, fine," which was a little bit ambitious, but I still did it. And then I realized, oh my god, Amnesia, Soma, Penumbra, the fictional games, all had an amazing soundtrack. I found the guy's Twitter and I tweeted him. He gave me his email, and I've been working with him since last Christmas. And he's such a great guy. Like, he's just someone I just really clicked with, and I just enjoyed working with him. And actually, it wasn't just him. It was also me doing some of the soundtracks, because I'm really into my music. So he sort of helped me with that. I would send him stuff I'd done, and he'd give me advice. He'd give me advice on the game, actually. He was just like a really cool guy. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. The only problem is that some people read that and they think, oh, music by this guy, and they think, oh, he's just taken that from the Amnesia game, and which is a little bit annoying. But hey, it really added an atmosphere to the experience, and I'm really happy that I did it.
Oh yeah, and I think it's good that we're clarifying on this for anybody that's wondering if like it was just music from Amnesia, but like it's kind of hard to not think that just because of how similar to like
Yeah.
Amnesia it sounds. Like there's nothing quite like Amnesia music anywhere
Absolutely.
else. Amnesia music
Yeah.
is like in its own category, and
See,
that's why I love
yeah.
it so much.
It's got a lot of vocals in it, which is actually, I don't know if you knew, so there was the first soundtrack, which was mine, which is when you walk into the study, not the study hall and rooms, but the area where you've got the code and you go and get the key.
Mhm.
And there's a picture on the wall, and that was actually my art GCSE project. I didn't I put it in, and I kind of forgot to take it out, and I just left it there. So that's a little funny side thing. But that music is very vocal. The one that I did, it was very inspired by Amnesia, and I layered some piano in it, and it was the same for the music in the West Hall, which is kind of the players' like chill moment after they've just had to be chased around and flipping switches, and they get out and they get up into that nice music area, which is very much inspired by the Amnesia back hall and
Yeah, I
some of
remember
the
that
levels
part.
from Resident Evil.
You
Yeah,
get chased. You get
pretty much.
chased by the water monster, and then you run up that
Yeah,
really long staircase. You get into that back hall, and there's like nice music. I like that part, and I think that's
yeah,
exactly what it reminded me of. So
yeah.
that was well done.
It's really important to give the player a break in any horror experience,
Oh
because
yeah,
otherwise it doesn't become obnoxious, but it's just sort of, you need a break from being scared all the time. Otherwise, you can't really handle it, because it's just a bit annoying being constantly scared.
exactly.
So I'm planning on introducing some little fun bits. That's why I've got the little tiny little jokes in some places, like the "Are you liking that big gap?"
Oh
in
my
the
god,
credit.
yeah,
And
I was like, shut up.
in the
Like,
yeah.
like
But
God, man.
I mean, they're not really the developers' notes, but they're related to the story and the kind of guy that the antagonist or the master person is, based on the story that I've developed.
Cool, cool. I guess this would lead into our next question, which is from Blue Piece. He asks, "What advice would you give to people who want to make video games?"
Well, advice. What I would do is I wouldn't start off being like, okay, I'm gonna make an open world, amazing survival horror AAA game with a giant open world city and crazy things. I would not start off with that. What I would do, it's alright to get a little bit of inspiration from something. Download Unity or Unreal Engine or whatever you think's cool. I'm a little biased towards Unity, but that's only because I've been using it for 7 years. But I would start just downloading one of those softwares and find just these little videos online about if you want to make a horror game. Find things sort of. You can start off with just copying and pasting codes. Excuse me. And once you've started doing that, then you can learn how to do it yourself, because you see things and you're like, oh, I saw this in the other code. Oh, I saw this in this, and then you learn how to do it yourself, and it becomes a really enjoyable process. Like, so start off with something small. Use the internet. Use asset models. Don't feel you have to create all of your own models unless you're really into that, and just have fun doing it, because as soon as you found a project where you come home from school or you come home from work and you think, oh, I'm looking forward to carry on with that is the project that's going to do well, or the one that you're going to finish. Because the amount of times I had projects that I didn't finish at all because I just lost motivation, and you want to find that click, you want to find that project that makes sense in your.
Yeah, I agree. I guess it sort of would also apply to like the other side of the spectrum for the guys playing the games. Like for me, it's like because people ask me all the time, like, do you want to, like, what's your advice on, like, becoming a YouTuber? Like, what do you recommend that I do? And basically I'm like, well, you first be yourself. Your fans who decide to watch you or respect you for who you are, you never want to put on a fake smile for anything,
Of
because
course,
people
yeah.
will see through that immediately. They can tell that you're not having fun. And, just do it for fun. Do it because it's something that you love doing. And that's the code that I follow when making videos, that I've never been in it for the views or for the money or for anything like that. I've always just liked doing YouTube because it's something that making videos is just something I've always loved to do, and
Absolutely.
that's the focus that you should have when making videos or making games. Just do it because you want to do it, and it's something you love doing, and that's it. And the people who enjoy it will follow you for you. So
Absolutely, yeah, and I can see that when I'm watching your content. I can really see you, enjoying yourself and being yourself, rather than putting on a bunch of fake smiles, as you said, and just not, it just look as if you're not doing it for the fun, which I think is important for anything you do, right?
yeah, it adds to the entertainment, because when you're enjoying yourself, the audience will enjoy it too, and when they will
Absolutely.
enjoy. They will get enjoyment out of you enjoying yourself, is the main thing I'm trying to say. And
Yeah, of course.
and I think that's what kind of disappoints me about how these days, like, a lot of people would like to watch YouTubers just for the games and not for the YouTubers. Like, this isn't going to turn into like a big like rant or anything, but it's something that I've noticed, is that especially with like Five Nights at Freddy's games, is that there's a lot of people that just watch for the gameplay.
Yes, that's so true.
They don't watch it for the YouTuber. They watch it for the game.
And then they get angry at you if you do it wrong, which is awful. And they get these 9-year-olds come at you. It's annoying.
Yeah, and it's disappointing, but it also makes me very grateful for the sane people that are here to watch whatever I play. And it's very, like, say if I'm streaming a game that's not very popular, but I will still have a group of people there like watching and enjoying it, and I'll always be very grateful for that. Just my point is, with all that being said, just enjoy yourself. That's best advice I can give you with that.
Absolutely. 100. That's how you should start off doing anything.
Yep. This next one is from Dweeming95. This is the guy that asked me if I wanted to play Designer's Curse in the first place. He says, were there any other inspirations in the Designer's Curse other than Amnesia and Penumbra?
So absolutely. There was a game called Black Rose, which is made by a friend of mine called Subedlam. He also made a game called Captured. Some amazing experiences. I suggest you check them out.
Black Rose is so scary, dude. Like, I've never played it, but I've watched Markiplier play it, and I could hardly watch that video. It was so scary.
Yeah.
My God, it's so scary. I need to go play that on the channel. I need to.
You should. It's on Steam for free. The guy's an absolute legend. That guy, he could make some awesome stuff. I don't know if you also played Captured, but that's also another amazing experience. But what inspired me was Black Rose Dungeon Nightmares, I'd say.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
The sort of dungeony based environments, and I'd say that's pretty much it, because a lot of the things were inspired by Amnesia, especially with the way that the monsters walk around, the way that you can crouch and hide from them, just sort of, and the soundtrack, that pulsing music. I don't know if you noticed, but with the second monster, the Fracken, so it's written in the notes that she's made like a Frankenstein, that's where the name comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a saw. If you listen to the chase music, or like the theme when you've been seen or you're about to be attacked, it sounds like a scraping saw, which is the freakiest stuff, and I love that. It
does, dude. When I was about to, basically, like, when it tells you like you need to find someplace to hide, then you go in the closet.
Oh yeah.
Like, that music that started playing, oh my God. Like, I have more horror games need to do that. The reason why I enjoyed myself so much with it is because I haven't played a game that put me on edge like that in forever. And
Really?
like the last
Thank
game
you.
I played that scared me like that was probably Escape the Iowoki. Have you heard of that game?
Oh yeah. That game, brilliant. I
Yeah,
love
the
it.
Michael
Apart from the
Jackson one.
fact that it's yeah. Apart from the fact that it's the stock house, which I've seen so many places, but everyone's done that. I did that, so I think it's a really cool experience, which is really freaky. I love that. It's cool. It's
Yeah,
nice.
but that's the last game that I can remember like legitimately scaring me before Designer's Curse was that game. And
Really.
yes, and it's just I've played so many horror games, and a lot of them are just kind of the same thing these days. And it's kind of like, oh well, you gotta do something different these days to scare
Yeah.
me. Like you see all these. That's why I like to have fun with it. Where like if the game tries to scare me and it fails, I kind of just like look at the camera and roll my eyes. I'm like, come on,
That's
try harder
brilliant.
than that. But like,
Kind of like a
then
John Wolf.
then
Yeah.
you go and see these other YouTubers that like fake scream, and it's so cringy,
Yeah.
dude. Like it's like, dude, like it's clearly not scary, but they're pretending to scream because apparently that's funny. Like I think
I
it's
know what you
funnier.
mean.
It's funnier to call out the game for trying to be scary than pretending to be scared, because
Yeah.
there might be some people that can't tell the difference, but I can. When
Yeah, of
somebody is pretending to scream, or like a pretend scream, pretending to be scared, I can easily tell because I've been scared before and I know how it feels to be scared, and so I can easily pick up when somebody's not being legit. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's kind of like a John Wolf. It's kind of like I love the guy who he used to be called Harshly Critical, John Wolf. His reactions are absolutely hilarious. Like he doesn't, like this guy is the most critical, awesome dude like I've ever seen. He played my game recently actually, but if he's got a jump scare, he'll just go, "Whoa, okay, oh no!" Like he just doesn't, like he's his true self, and I love seeing that rather than this fake scream that just sort of hurts my ears. Like, ow, what are you doing?
Like when I did kind of, I don't think I screamed any. I did go like, oh my god, like that's usually what I'll do when something like makes me jump. Like you gotta really get me with something to make me like yell out. It's very rare that I will yell out at something. But like usually when the majority of the time when something gets me like that, I'll go like, oh my god, like that's usually what I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question again? I forgot what the question was. We've gone on a tangent, and I'm liking it, but I forgot what the question.
Well, the original question was if you had any other inspirations for Designer's Curse other than Amnesia and Penumbra, and you explained the other inspirations that you had.
Oh yeah, of course I did. Yes. Oh yeah, nice. Black Rose, Dungeon Nightmares. Was there anything else? I honestly think Amnesia's level design was really influential to me, and I know he said other than Amnesia and Penumbra, but yeah, Black Rose and Dungeon Nightmares were pretty high inspirations, and I think the game wouldn't be as good without its soundtrack, and I think that's highly influential from Black Rose actually, because Black Rose has an amazing orchestral sort of thing to it, which I love. So yeah, that's the answer to the question. I feel I've fully answered it now. Nice.
Yeah. And then he asks after that, he says, do you plan on doing any more VR horror or maybe potentially VR support for Designer's Curse?
Nice, because he must have seen the other game I did called Under, which was a HTC Vive horror experience, which was pretty cool actually. I really enjoyed that, but not many people had a big enough room to play it, which was a bit of a pain. But so, do I plan on doing any more VR horror? Yes, I'm releasing new versions of the Under game. I'm gonna do different sort of horror experiences inside there for different headsets, and I want it to be this nice little package that you can get on Steam, which has a bunch of like horror experiences which work with a bunch of different headsets. I'm doing one which is inspired by Dreadhalls, which is very old school.
That's a good one.
Oculus Rift. Yes, yeah, I've actually got I've got the Vive here, and I've got the Oculus Rift DK2 from a few years ago, and I remember playing that stuff, and that honestly, I've never felt so immersed and terrified. And I thought, how would it feel to be doing that? You know, standing up, holding a lantern in your hand with a controller. And I've been working on it, and it's it's pretty well. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be releasing soon.
I need to get a VR. Like, I've always wanted a VR. I need to get one so I can play those types of games. I've yet to experience a VR game, and I really want to try it. I bet it's gonna be so cool.
I would suggest, if you're looking for something that would be PC compatible, probably like Oculus Rift or HTC Vive. But they've just got the new Oculus Quest out, which is pretty cool. It's completely wireless and all self-contained VR headset, which I'm hoping on buying soon. I think that would be really cool to try out.
If I can get the money for it, then heck yeah.
Yeah, see, I was lucky because when I made Overnight 2 and I posted updates, like unseen updates, on YouTube, and like I checked the next day and it had 500,000 views on the video, and I was like, oh my god! And then the day after that, it was at like 2 million, and now it's on like 5 million, and I have a few other videos which are a couple of million, and it adds up to about 11 million views. And from the ad revenue from that, I could buy the VR headset and stuff, and the digital piano downstairs that I use for creating soundtracks. So YouTube was a big help, you know, ad revenue and stuff like that was a big help in getting me to be able to buy equipment to carry on developing and things like that.
Yeah, I bet. Sounds like it. I mean, I'm assuming if you got like that many million views, I'm sure that you got several $100s from that.
Yeah, of course. Obviously it was around the time of the adpocalypse, I think. So I obviously didn't get a great dollar per thousand. I think but it was still good. I still had quite a bit of money from that, which was really helpful for me to buy, you know, the HTC Vive and the piano downstairs. So that was really awesome. That Overnight was a massive help in my success and publicity and things like that.
Nice. And so Dreaming had one more question in his tweet, and I think you partially answered this already, but I think I'll ask it again just to be sure. He says, are you planning for the next chapters of Designer's Curse to be DLC or just updates?
On Steam, I don't think you can sell updates, so I'm going to be doing kind of like Dark Deception, how you can add a DLC, so you're going to be able to buy the extra chapter, and I can't have them all in the same file, otherwise you'd be downloading like a 10 gigabyte file, and that's not very practical.
No, it's not.
So I'm going to be doing them in DLCs, where you can buy the DLCs, and they're basically the new chapters of the game.
Nice. All right, this is our last one from Twitter. This is from Colby Ryan Williams. What do you think is the greatest mechanic that you have ever made in any of your games?
Right. I just want to quickly say that dude is actually the designer for the he's the guy who made he made the first monster. He modeled that. Yeah, he's really talented artist, and he modeled the first monster, and he did brilliantly. So can I just say that? Well done to him.
He did, man. That first monster was freaking.
Yeah, he's an absolute genius. Like, if anyone isn't following him, try and follow his Twitter. He posts loads of art stuff. Anyway,
follow him right now.
Greatest mechanics. I would say I really like the fact that you can write your own notes in the Designer's Curse. That was a really cool feature.
in my opinion. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Although lots of people just yeet their phone out of their pocket and take a photo, which is fine, and some people don't even see it. They just
I was about to do that actually during the recording. I was like, oh, I gotta take a picture of this, and then a hint came up saying, hey, you can write your own notes. I'm like, oh.
See, some people they just they reach for their phone, so they're looking down and then they're trying to find some paper or whatever, and then the hint pops up, and then the hint goes, and then they don't see it, and they just have to write it down themselves, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, that was a cool mechanic. I think this being able to, you know, interact with the world was a cool mechanic in this new game. You know, being able to shut the doors on the monsters. I've updated it, which makes it easier to be able to run away from them now. But being able to shut the doors on them is so tense, you know, just running from it and flipping that lever, and it just yeets the door down, kind of like a fight. It's kind of, and you can tell that I was a free roam Five Nights at Freddy's developer, because is a very similar aspect. You know, closing the door right on the animatronic as it stomps down the hall. I don't know if you ever played Overnight Revive, but I think you should try it out if it actually runs, because it's poorly optimized, but it's a pretty cool
I should be
experience.
able, if I put it on, maybe if it doesn't run well, I guess probably put it on lowest graphics. But yeah, I agree. I think the writing your own notes, I did like that a lot, and I also agree that like the I lost my train of thought there. Oh yeah, the interacting with the world, and that's something that I liked. That something that Amnesia does really freaking well is it's very simple but very effective. That you can like pick up things and interact with the doors and pull them
Yeah,
open and close. Like it's like I said, it's a simple mechanic, but it's very effective because it immerses you a lot more instead of just like
absolutely.
walking up to a door and pressing E. You know, it's like it's
Yeah,
way more interactive when you can actually like pull the door open and stuff.
of course, because it means if there's like a monster outside, I had a bit of a problem in the first build of the game because the door didn't actually have like a block, like a stopping thing. So if the monster was outside, he would literally just see you and run, which is so unfair. And I've only just fixed that in the new update. I really hope that's the version that people are playing now. But you can, if there's a monster outside, you can just slightly drag open the door and peek your head around the corner and see where he is. Absolutely so immersive, and I love that mechanic. I just think it
Yeah,
works
me
really
too.
well.
Me too. All right, let's move on to our community tab questions. Our first one
Nice.
here is from Michael Charlanis. He has an overnight question and the designer's curse question. We'll start with the overnight one first. Which overnight game do you prefer the most?
Um, Overnight Revived, and I like some of the aspects of Overnight 2 reboot. Sort of, I'm not sure which one. I think Overnight 2 had a, there was something about it which made it sort of fun. It was a sort of fun game to do. But I think Overnight Revived is definitely probably one of my favorite projects.
I'll have to check that out. Is it on your Games Joe page?
Yeah, it's on there. The only problem was as soon as you press play, it freezes for like a minute because it's the for some reason the level takes so long to load, and then it says it's not responding, and that puts loads of people off the game because they think, oh, it's crashed when it hasn't. You just need to leave it, which is kind of why I'm reluctant to continue, because for some reason that map I'm made, no matter how much I changed, was taking so long to load. I don't know if it was like a line of code or something, but I've just given up on that one. I think I'm just gonna leave that as a night one demo, I think.
Got it. Got it. All right, and then for designer's curse, were there any ideas that never made the cut?
Any ideas that never yeah, I'd say the whole thing was at the start was going to be like a chamber with like very metallic walls, and you'd walk around flipping switches, and as you went through and solved more puzzles in one area, you'd see like you after flipping a lever, you'd turn around and you see the monster standing in the corner, and like after, and you'd have to run down and open the thing, but and you start hearing the footsteps run up behind you. It was going to be that sort of thing, and I thought, what could I make the story for that? And I actually started thinking it was going to be like that, but then I developed into a new concept and developed a new story, and that didn't actually end up happening. But yeah, I think it worked out pretty well the way it did.
Yeah, I think it did as well. All right, next one is from Whitish, or Whitish. I always pronounce it Whitish, but it's Whitish. Whitish Button 63. What did you like and hate the most when making your games?
Um, is there any specific one, or is it just games in general?
I think he means any game, I would assume.
I love being able to come home from school and think, oh, I really want to carry on with this, and I hate losing inspiration. That's pretty much says it. I think I love soundtrack. I will spend so much time just sitting on the piano and just thinking of new concepts. Like, oh, you go into this area, and this music plays and it has these harmonies, and I really enjoy doing that. You know, that's one of my favorite things to do. I think making levels where you have to run or hide, I love doing that. I think doing level design is a little bit tedious. I kind of have a bit of lack of inspiration when I'm doing that, but I eventually get going, and then I can go on to the things that I enjoy. Because nobody can be a level designer, a musician, a programmer, a modeler, and I think I've got a fair number of them, but I don't even get me started on doing like 3D modeling. So yeah, I'm not very good at that at all. But I think music is definitely a number one for me.
So, anything that you don't like at all, or do you just like it all the time?
Yeah, no, I don't really like doing level design much, because I find that a bit tedious, and I also don't like it when I have inspiration. I would say are the two things that I'm not a big fan of. But yeah.
Yeah, losing inspiration, I hate it, man. Like, say if I want to record something and then like I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, I don't know if I want to record. It's like it's like I hate it when that happens because I told you how much I just love making videos, and then when I'm demotivated and don't have the inspiration to record anything, it sucks. And that's why I always try to keep looking for games to play, and I'm always working on the computer, and it's hard to combat demotivation too, because when it gets to you, it just overwhelms you, and it's like you don't want to do anything.
And you feel so guilty, don't you?
Yeah.
But then you can't. It's a bit like when you're not studying for exams.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, man.
And if
God.
If my parents are listening, I did study for my exams. Please don't take that as I didn't revise for my GCSEs. That's just something that I have experiences with the past. Okay, so don't worry. I did study.
Yeah.
Don't worry. If my parents are listening, which they probably are, because my dad was asking me if he could listen to it live. But yeah.
Yeah, just tell them that this will be out on Sunday.
Of course, nice.
Okay. Anyways, what is our next one? We got one from Nintendo Boy. Designer's curse question. Did you ever scare yourself while testing and making the game?
100% dude. Oh my god. So I don't know if you noticed, but when you go into the cellar prisons area, which is where you first get an encounter with the first monster, and he starts busting down the door like a annoying little poo, and then he starts busting it down. But then I had this problem where the trigger where he's supposed to start doing it, or the timing was like badly timed, and I also had the wrong sound file. So I had the one of me. So all the monsters are just literally me screaming in the toilet. So if anyone's scared of that, that's literally some nerd with a microphone blowing raspberries into a microphone. So that's quite funny. But so there was supposed to be the sound of him busting it down, but it was just a slam sound. It was a door slam sound. It was set really loud, and I had the timing in the wrong place. And
that got me. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That got me big time. Like, yes. It's like I was running through a hallway and I was like, boom! Like that, dude. Yeah. That got me so bad. My God.
I just thought it works. Like I was like, oh my god! I screamed like a little squealing. Like, oh my god! I was so scared. I think my entire family heard me squeal. I think, or my school, or wherever I was, and oh my god! And I just thought that is brilliant. And I need to have somewhere where the next year is cut off. How about just have it so the door slams behind you? The only problem is some people don't really know what that sound is, and they just think it's some like weird noise. But yeah, that door slamming sound freaked me out so much. I think just being when I have to test the areas to see if the AI is too hard, having to crouch down in my own creation, like peeking around the corner and just making sure that there's nothing there, that freaked me out. The Fracken testing hall, oh my gosh, absolutely terrifying. When I just be walking and I just suddenly hear Miko, who's the composer, his music just coming in, a scraping sound.
Like,
and
it's like,
yes. And I just yeet my headphones off and I just run away from my desk. I'm like, right, that's enough for today. I don't need any more of that. But yeah, that's pretty much, I scare myself a lot making horror games, and I love it at the same time. But it's just, it's especially some people say to me, oh, why do you get scared if it's your own game? But with things like AI, if you've developed like a virtual brain, how are you gonna know what the thing is gonna do, where it's gonna walk? So exactly, you're kind of dealing with its own entity right there. And I think dealing with something which isn't programmed, which is like an actual AI walking around the place, that freaks me out as well, I'd say.
I agree. I agree. This next one is from Ben God. That's an interesting name. Is there ever going to be a FNAF Overnight 3? And what was your first FNAF fan game ever created?
Okay, I'm gonna answer the second question first. Sorry to be awkward, that's what I'm doing. So, the first overnight. I mean, I forgot what I even. Oh yeah, overnight 3. No, because I want to move away from Five Nights at Freddy's for now. I think I really
I
want to
do
move on
too.
to because I felt constrained. Like I felt like I was being forced to create things. To be honest, I enjoyed them the first few times, but now I just feel it being tedious. Like, oh, create the timer for the power. Make the AI run into a bunch of problems, and it was just stressful. And I couldn't sell anything, and it wasn't original. Although I did really enjoy it, and I'm not gonna lie, that game was an extremely influential time for me, and I'm like hugely thankful to Scott Cawthon for creating it in the first place. But yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna be moving away from Five Nights at Freddy's for now. And to the second question, or the first one, I can't remember. First overnight game I made was Overnight. I uploaded it to GameJolt. I was just messing around with some of the Five Nights at Freddy's the models, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna try to do something. And I made this pizzeria, well, not made, like I did it based on the design, and it wasn't great, but it was something, and people loved it, and I had a bunch of people coming into it, and that was really nice. But yeah, first FNAF game I made was Overnight, and most people who are young developers, people think that they started off straight away doing the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, whereas actually I had what was it, 3 years of experience, because I was about 12, I think. And so yeah, first Overnight game that I made was Overnight 1, or whatever you.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that just again, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that you made that when you were freaking 12 is very impressive, because like it's the same with like Ivan G, because like when Ivan G was I don't remember how old Ivan is right now. He's still like 15 or 16 or something. But like that means when like he made like the first Jolly game, he was only like 12 or 13 when he made that, and it's very impressive seeing you guys at such young ages making games like this.
It's crazy. Yeah, Ivan is an extremely talented dude. I never actually spoken to him, but I'd love to talk to him sometime because the kid seems like a genius, and
He is, man.
I'd love to get some inspiration from him. He seems like a really cool guy.
I'm sure he'd be happy to give you some tips. But yeah, he is super chill, and I was really honored when he came forward and asked me to be the phone guy for Jollibees, and it's a lot of fun to do that, and I can't wait to see what I can help him out with in his future projects, because not only is he a really talented game developer, but he's super chill along with it, and that's one of the best that's one of the best things you can ask from a game developer. They're really talented, and they're also very nice to everybody.
Yeah, just nice to talk to rather than being like a arrogant twat, which I don't think there are many of those. But
there's some. We'll not name names, but there are some.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, the next one was asking again what your favorite Overnight game was, and you already said that was Overnight.
Yeah.
What was it called again? Overnight
Revived.
Revived, yeah, okay. And then the next one after that was asking for another Overnight 3, and you already answered that as well. Next one is from French Moose. Have you had any development problems when working on the Overnight games?
Yes. Things like the AIs running into each other, the lighting not being good enough, the cameras not working, but you just carry on, you just keep pushing forward, and you end up with something that works. And then I mean, I haven't actually had as many problems as I did with my newer, more original games, but I definitely had a few. And if you literally, you can post it on the Unity Reddit if you have any problems, and the people on there are super chill, and they will help you out and help you with problems that I didn't even think could be solved. As long as you're not saying, oh, can you write a 2,000 word code for me? Like, that's not gonna happen. But if you need some help, the Unity Reddit is a great place to go.
I bet. Sounds like it. let's see. What is our next question? FNAF Gamer 06. This is kind of I'm going to try to ask this the best way I can because it's kind of worded this weird.
Of course.
I think what he means by this is saying, who was the person that has supported you the most? And then he says, I'm starting out game development. I'm 13, and I'm struggling to get any support. I love Overnight and the Designer's Curse. Thanks for making. But I guess the main question he's asking is, who do you think has been your biggest supporter throughout game development for you?
Oh my gosh, if my dad's listening right now, he's gonna be, oh my god, Christian, please save me, because it is 100% my dad. He's a legend. He's whenever I do anything, he's always, the number one fan, or the first person who's always given me good criticism, bad criticism, just helping me out. I don't know if there is such thing as good. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, he's just been very helpful. I think Omar Stabali is an absolute legend. He's been a friend of mine since I was very young, and he's always helped me. And he's always the first person to get on any game I make, even if it's bad. This dude will be on it in 2 days, no matter how many views it's getting on YouTube. So Omar, yeah, Omar. I think also the sort of newer people, such as like Poised and 8-Bit Ryan, some really nice dudes, and they've always been really supportive of everything I do and play almost all the stuff I make, and I'm so grateful for that. But the number one is definitely my dad, I would say.
Yeah, I can say the same, with not necessarily like my YouTube videos, but like I'm a big writer. I love to write, and
oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and my dad is also a big writer, and he has supported all the writing I've done throughout all my years of writing. I started writing when I was about I'd say, well, actually writing a legit book, I'd say I started writing like my first legit book when I was around like 12. But before
Amazing.
then,
That's fantastic.
Before then, like I would say, I remember back as early as like 4th and 5th grade, like I would take like a bunch of like copy paper from a printer and like fold it together and staple it, and then like write little stories on it. And,
dude, that was literally the same thing that I used to do, although you're definitely a lot better than me. But I used to be obsessed with writing stories. If people came to my house, I'd be like, do you want to write a story? And they'd be like, no, and then I'd be sad. But I used to spend all my time doing that. Of course, I never got any good, but that's great that you had that passion, right?
Yeah, and I still do. I still write. I haven't worked on my current book in a couple weeks, but I'm still at it every now and then when I have the time. And I actually have, I've told some people this, I actually have a published book out on Amazon. It's called The Legend of Roger. It's called The Legend of Roger Lee's Anger. It's about, this was the book I wrote when I was 13. And it is a Kindle Fire exclusive. So you have to have...
Oh my god, I'm searching that up right now.
Yeah, actually I can go and find it
really
quickly.
Just send it on the... Just send it on the Discord. I'd love to have a look at that. That sounds... And you were 12? That's amazing. That's honestly... To be able to go on doing that, I would never be able to have the motivation to do that. That's honestly incredible.
Yeah, I think you can easily tell that it was written by like a 12, 13-year-old, but
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's like the fact that you even made something that was, readable is pretty awesome, and I'd love for you to send me that.
Yeah, I got the link for you right here. But yeah, carrying on, basically it's definitely a story thought up by a 13-year-old. It's about a kid who, travels all over the world fighting a freaking monster, and that's basically the best way I can describe it, because it's, considering that I was younger when I wrote it, it's like I had a very interesting creative mind when it came to writing this. And yeah, but you have to have a Kindle to read it on the go, or I think you can buy it like on the page on desktop, and you can read it like there. I think, I'm not sure, but it's not like a hardback published book that you can find in stores, but it is on the Kindle store if anybody is interested in reading it. But yeah, and currently I am writing a series called The Guardians of Lethargus, which has a similar kind of feel to it, but it's definitely a lot more fleshed out, a lot more detailed. It's about a
Yeah, of course.
About a late high school kid who is transported to another world, and he finds out that he's got to collect keys to open the gates to the castle in the center of the land and defeat the king so he can go home. And of course, it's not going to be that easy. But there's 3 books in the series, and I'm currently working on book 3 right now, and it's going pretty well. But yeah. Anyways, I kind of went off on a big tangent there, but yeah.
No, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, bottom line is, my dad has supported me throughout that. He loves that I also write, and he's written several books of his own, and you know he's always supported my writing. He's always read my manuscripts and given me constructive criticism, and told me what he likes and things should be changed. And he's definitely the best person to talk to about, because he's been writing for years and years and years. So yeah, I think we both had a similar view that our fathers are the best inspiration for our work.
Of course.
Okay, and this is our last one. This is from Ray Grant. Are the monsters in Designer's Curse tortured humans or creation of the designer based on humans?
It's leaning on the second one. I'd say it's so the whole point was the person that's, I'm sorry for the spoilers, the person that you play as was sort of kind of like a Frankenstein kind of dude who would sort of create his own creatures based on what he was told to, because he was being threatened by the master, which is a guy who had his family in custody in one of the in the prison blocks, and he couldn't leave, otherwise his family would be dead, as it says in one of the notes. So he was constantly making these creatures in fear that his family wasn't going to be able to, go on like living, because he knew he had these talents, and he made these weird creatures based on what the master wanted, which is like based on the body parts of the people who had, which the master guy was annoyed with, and he basically used that as a form of punishment by making these creatures based on their family members' body parts. It's grim, it's disgusting, but I think it worked pretty well. And yeah, so it sort of tortured humans and just the body parts and sort of molded and taken to make these creatures. I think that's more of the case for one of them than the other, but I think people can work that out if they read the notes.
Yeah, I could definitely tell which one was more based on the humans and stuff. And
yeah.
Yeah, Ray, I hope that answers your question. That is all of the questions that we have for Community.
Is that all of them?
Yep, that's it.
Is there no more?
Yeah, that's it.
No more.
Is there is there anything else that you would like to mention or talk about before we end off?
Anything else I'd like to mention? To be honest, I'd say if anyone's interested in doing game design, they should just get straight on it, because the sooner you, the sooner you start, the better it is. If anyone's interested in any advice, you can always DM me on Twitter, because I have my DMs open. But yeah, do what you think's best, create what you really enjoy. I think that worked out well for me, and I hope it continues to do so.
So, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the GeniusCast. It's a little bit shorter than normal. We've been going for about, I'd say, 54 minutes right now, so it's not that much shorter than other episodes. But be sure to stay tuned for next week, as I will be interviewing the Game Salmon. I'll be having a post for that up in the next few days. And I don't know who I'm going to be doing for the episode after that, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. But Christian, thanks for taking the time to be on here, man. It was cool to talk to you about your games. And
thanks so much for having me, yeah.
You're welcome, dude. And if you guys would like to check out his works, you can find his Game Jolt in the description. You can find the link to Designer's Curse in the description, and the link to his Twitter in the description as well. Do you want your YouTube linked as well, or
why not? That would be brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so YouTube, Twitter, Game Jolt, and link to Designer's Curse. Those will all be in the description if you would like to check out his other works, and links to the previous episodes of the GeniusCast will be in the description and in the end cards as well. So, thank you all for listening to this episode. Have a good day, have a good night whenever you all listen to this, and I'll catch y'all next week. See y'all later. Bye-bye.